Thankfully, those winds are subsiding. The fire danger is going to remain elevated, though, because of how dry it is. And I want to get you a view right now of Mount Wilson, because the mountain is still smoldering from the fires of yesterday and the past few days. If you're not directly affected like Kendall and his mother, indirectly, you're being affected by the very poor air quality. Remain indoors as much as you can today. Avoid the burning eyes, the runny nose, the scratchy throat, the headaches. And if you have any respiratory issues, you want to avoid those for sure. And those that are the most vulnerable to this kind of smoke are our children, our older population, and also those who are pregnant. Even your pets can feel this very poor air quality. And the unhealthy air quality is going to be felt from the Altadena area, around the San Gabriel Valley, around the downtown area, and all the way into the South Bay. But we've got that smoke advisory in effect for most of LA County, portions of Orange County, and the Inland Empire. So please remain inside as much as you can. If you step outside, bring a mask. The weather is so very dry. It's the combination of this prolonged dry spell with the gusty, very strong winds that we had earlier this week that sparked these fires. It's been a very dry start to the water year. Little to no rainfall has been accumulated since the water year started on October the 1st. And for some cities, Riverside, Anaheim, this is going down as the driest start for them ever. And unfortunately, no significant rain is in the forecast. And now we're starting to see those impacts in our drought monitor. Here in Southern California, we're starting to experience moderate to severe drought conditions. Now, the winds this morning are very strong in a few locations, but they are backing off. Here we are looking at the weather around the middle of the morning, and we're looking at much better conditions. The commute later today, much better. The winds are lighter this afternoon, this evening, and into tomorrow morning. Now look at the weather on Saturday. We start to see those winds pick up. The winds pick up through the middle of the day on Saturday, and they become stronger on Sunday. And here's the reason why. We're going to have another storm system that's going to press in our direction. It's going to bring back those Santa Ana winds Saturday into Sunday if you live in those wind-prone locations. But another potentially more damaging wind event is headed our way early next week. So here's a 7-day forecast. No rain, unfortunately. We will have periods of gusty winds over the weekend, and then stronger winds expected for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The weather for our friends in the valleys and Inland Empire highs today could get into the 70s. Over the weekend, the weather stays dry with winds continuing, and the winds are going to get even stronger earlier next week. In the deserts, watch out for blowing dust. And for our friends in the mountains, careful with those crosswinds. Again, high wind warnings remain in effect, as well as those red flag warnings through the afternoon.
So saw a few minutes are gone, and we just saw a few minutes ago, essentially it's crumbling.
Yeah, it's just so awful to see. The seaside community is so popular with tourists, but now it's the scene of the most destructive fire in LA. NBC4's Brittany Hope is monitoring the firefight there this morning. Now, you're just outside of Pacific Palisades, Brittany. You've been there this whole week. What's your perception this morning, as a lot of this is really just starting to settle in for people?
It's so surreal. Yesterday, my family and I were preparing to evacuate from the Kenneth fire. So we were up all night as well, just like the thousands of families that we've been covering, waiting to get orders. And we were right on that evac border. So many of my friends here have lost everything, and I've had to break that news to some of them. Others still have homes standing. But today it's so odd. This is the first day I'm not wearing a mask. You can still smell a little bit of the smoke, but it's nothing compared to what we've seen the past few days. Now it's just this eerie quiet, and we're getting an up-close look at places. So we're on PCH in Topanga. If you've driven PCH between the Palisades and Malibu, you know this corner. This is this incredible imports store that has furniture and statues. This place was a treasure trove. And now it's just gone. But the only thing still standing are the Buddhas. My photographer, Joel, we were both talking. I mean, I grew up coming here as a kid my whole life. Joel, you said when you built your home, you did a lot of stuff here too, right?
Yeah, well, it's like a garden. This place is like a giant, beautiful garden, and you want to take a little bit of their garden to make it a part of your garden. So it's a really, and the business owner is really great in the community. Every time we've come here for storm coverage or fire coverage, he's always like, come on in. He's welcoming, use the bathroom, and I've done some great business with him, and he's a great addition to the community. It's sad to see his spot here just, hanging on by a thread.
I know he'll be really feeling the love, and we're sending him all of the love. A lot of people have been asking to see what the inside of Topanga looks like. Joel and I were finally able to get up there this morning. Take a look. We're going to flash our flashlight over there on that ridge just south of us, coming down toward the canyon, is where the heat of the flames have been this morning. And we have seen water drop after water drop after water drop focused on this section. In fact, you can probably hear above us right now, there is an aircraft that is circling the fire right now. Luckily, we've seen them make some really, really precise water drops, which has been incredibly helpful. These flames have gotten really tall at some points, especially when they kind of climb up those trees and shoot up those trees. Just across from us here, you have that really historic costume store over there. You have yoga studios. You have a market. You have Pebbles, which is a little clothing store. Yeah, you know, we shared video online this morning of the village in Topanga still standing, and thousands of people are just so thankful to see that that's the case, because we haven't been able to get up there because of power lines and issues. But just looking at Oasis Imports, I mean, this is just one of many, right? We know almost 5,400 structures burned in this fire. And there's now all these little pieces of the terracotta pottery that used to decorate the intersection of Topanga and PCH. And you know, all of these little pieces, you think about all those different buildings and all of the cleanup that has to happen, and it hits you in a different way. But definitely positive news to report out of Topanga, although there is a firefight. The town's still standing, and we did see the neighborhood of Grandview and Fernwood still standing as well, you guys.